January the 2nd is the day that SmackDown is going back to 3 hours every week. You guys are split in the middle. Some of you really are excited that we're getting more wrestling on television. And then there are more of you that absolutely despise the fact that WWE has not learned from their mistakes when they had SmackDown at 3 hours many, many, many months ago. Here's the thing. January the 2nd is coming around very soon. I mean, as I look at the dates, we're a matter of weeks away. And when I first heard the news that, you know what, they're going to take this back to 3 hours, I sat there and I thought, you know what is it they're going to do for an extra hour? Like, what are they going to fill it with? Are they hoping to throw in more advertisements? You know, like more commercials? Are they going to extend the matches, like the matches they already have? Are they going to give them more time? Like I'm trying to sit here and think, like, you don't have a roster, at least a full roster to run a 3 hour show. They don't have a full roster to run a 2 hour show, let alone a 3 hour show. So what is it that they're going to do that is going to fill 3 hours of TV time? I'm still trying to think of that. I don't really know. Now, I have some notes here. We have a lot of issues with this show that you guys probably know very well. Oversaturating SmackDown. We already see that SmackDown is trying to create a lot of filler segments because they don't have enough roster and they don't have enough storyline to carry out the entire show. So I'll give you an example. So Raw's 3 hour format is infamous for filler. SmackDown is already showing signs of this. Lash Legend versus Alexa Bliss was booked as a statement win, but it felt like filler with little storyline payoff. We had Javon Evans versus The Miz, which was a solid match, but clearly just a placeholder before Saturday night's main event. Again, this is what I'm talking about. You're going to pair people together. We're going to have guys like Carmelo Hayes, facing off against guys like The Miz because guess what? We don't have enough roster and we don't have people from Raw and NXT that are available to come down, right? I mean, the concern here is like, why do we even have the brand split? Because we've had weeks where people from different shows do come up and make appearances, and then other shows where it's like, did you forget to make the phone call? Like, what's going on? So that's one concern. The other concern is what I just said here. There's an imbalance of talent. Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre have been the top feud for months. Months. I mean, it's getting redundant. Like you start off the show and you're like, we're going back to this again. That's an issue. There's not a lot of star power. Guys like Randy Orton, guys like Jacob Fatu, they're not on TV. And they need to come back to TV. And they need to come back to SmackDown because this show is struggling. We have superstars like Obafemi. Again, we feel as if he will likely be called up to the main roster very soon. And again, as we hope that they bring on more of these talent because there's a lot of names on NXT who, if they brought up, it would make the show, like if they're going 3 hours, you would have enough segments to fill the show. I'm not going to sit here and say the storyline is going to be amazing if they bring guys up from NXT, but at least hopefully you won't see things that are just overly done, redundant, over and over again. At least that will go down a little bit. The other concern is they have what we call fan fatigue. So, for example, the Wyatt Six, they won the tag titles in July. They haven't defended them since October. And fans are losing patience with champions who vanish for months. Without consistent title defenses, the division feels stagnant, and that adds to fatigue. I mean, it's going to continue to feel stagnant because who exactly are the Wyatt Six going to face off against? You know, like, who do you have on the roster? Who do you have in the tag team division? This is a concern. Triple H, he's been criticized for leaning too heavily into the Cody and Drew storyline while underutilizing other talent. We have matches like Ilya Dragunov versus Tommaso Ciampa. It was a pretty good match they had for the U.S. title. It was a standout match, but instead of building momentum, it was overshadowed by DIY interference and Carmelo Hayes, his run-in. Too many moving parts that dilute a strong story. They do a lot of that. I've seen a lot of that happen. Interference after interference. We saw this at Saturday night's main event. I mean, what was the issue with having Obafemi get a victory on Cody Rhodes? Did we need to have Drew McIntyre come out and interrupt that match? Did we need to have him screw the match for Obafemi? Why? Could we not have had a situation where Drew comes out and he does screw Cody Rhodes? Okay, but it could have been with, the ref's back is turned, or, I think the ref went down in that match. So, I mean, actually, I don't know if he did. I'm not sure if he did. I don't know if the ref went down before Drew came out. But let's just say if the ref went down, ref bump, Drew comes out, pummels Cody Rhodes, I don't know, kicks him in the face, steel chair, something like that. And then, the ref is awake, Oba comes in to hit his finisher, 1, 2, 3. I mean, you could have done it that way. Like, what was the problem with having a clean pinfall victory? Sorry, I shouldn't say clean, but what was the problem with having a pinfall victory here? Why did we go to no contest? So this is the issue that we're seeing a lot of when you tie poor booking decisions with the fact that the talent roster is so thin. You really sit here and you're concerned, like, they're going to go 3 hours with this. Like, are they putting themselves into a hole? Like, is that what they're doing? Or by some slight miracle, this could be the reason why SmackDown actually puts on better storytelling, because they've put themselves in a position where we have to. I mean, 3 hours, we have no other choice. You can look at it at, either way. It could be this way or it could be that way. If we look at history, we know that they're not very likely to create a 3-hour spectacle every single week, nor do we expect them to. So we have a lot of issues, and these are issues that need to be looked at, and they need to be addressed. First and foremost, either we do a proper brand split, like we do, because we don't have one right now. We either do a proper one where we bring NXT talent onto the main roster and we split them up over Raw and SmackDown. Like, we balance this out. Either we do that, or we get rid of the brand split, and we don't do this thing where it's like, 1 week we have these wrestlers from one show come on, and another week we don't have anybody. Let's keep it consistent. So we either do it one way or the other way. Let's not do this, down the middle kind of thing, like sitting on the fence kind of thing. That's what needs to happen first for SmackDown. They need to have a brand split, or they need to bring on more superstars to the show. And I'm not saying like appearances. I'm saying like on the roster. Like, they need to have people on the roster, bodies on the roster. Appearances here or there is cool. Like, if you want an appearance here or there, that's cool. But like, you need to have a consistent roster where people watch, they know. Like, you guys remember when SmackDown was being run by the Bloodline, Bro, SmackDown was the show to watch. I mean, because like you looked at SmackDown, and you said, "Oh, that's the Bloodlines show. Roman Reigns is going to be on there. The Usos, Solo Sikoa, Sami Zayn. There's going to Paul Heyman. There's going to be something that's going to go down." That's what made SmackDown worthwhile watching during those times. We don't have that today. There's no single storyline or superstar that you say, like, you attach yourself and you say, "Oh, that's SmackDown. I'm looking forward to watching because of this person or this story." Just a bunch of stuff put together with no rhyme or rhythm, and you wonder why the ratings are tanking. So the first thing is they need to figure out, are we doing a brand split, or are we just bringing people on? Forget the brand split. Just bring people on and have them stay on the roster. Whichever one works for you. It's not that big of a deal, but we need more people. So that's number one. Number two, I mean, this is this is consistent across every show. They need better storytelling. I mean, start introducing more behind the scenes segments. Start introducing more fan interactive promos. Start introducing segments that are outside of the ring. Backstage, parking lot. Who knows, right? Different segments. And on top of that, let's have more wrestling on the show. Okay? You can easily, for a 3-hour show, you could easily throw in another match or two. Okay? Knowing how they structure a show, there's a lot of commercials they got to put on. There's a lot of filler that they put on. If we just have another one or two matches on the show, and I'm talking like good wrestling, like this is good wrestling outside of the U.S. Open Challenge, we have another match or two that's good wrestling on this show, this will be a decent format for SmackDown. 3 hours will then be bearable. You could bear 3 hours. The question is, how many of these changes are they going to actually execute? So that's where we're at right now. Again, more time is not going to fix bad writing. At the end of the day, we've seen that WWE tends to function better when the shows are shorter. I'm not saying that we need to start just producing like 4-match PLEs. I'm not saying we need to have it that short, but we understand that when a show is shorter, they can introduce story and they can introduce angles and they can introduce compelling television to the point where it's not oversaturated. It's not like overly done, and it's not hindered because you have commercial after commercial that's like, in the middle of these matches, like 3 commercials in like a 15-minute match. It's just ridiculous. It throws you out of the match. You don't feel anything because every time something picks up, here's a commercial. Wait 5 minutes. All right, now we're back. 3 minutes later, all right, another 5-minute commercial. That's just it's not a great way to keep your fans watching for 3 hours. Okay, so we know some things are inevitable. Fans will not sit down and watch a 3-hour show. Most of them will not. Okay, they will watch a few hours, maybe the first or 2 hours, or maybe they might tune into the last hour. Who knows? But they're like your ratings are not going to go up. We know that. What you want to focus on is just making sure that if it's 3 hours long, make sure that the shows are bearable. Make sure that the shows have consistency and start building story around the show so that when people think of the show, they think of certain people or they think of certain talent or they think of certain storyline, right, which makes them compelled to watch the show. That's all I can say. I don't like to sit here and be negative, but based on what we've seen and also for how long we've seen it, I don't really know if it's a good idea to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, well, they'll come up with something. I mean, 3 hours never was great for anybody. It was never great for the writing team. It was never great for the fans. So it's going to be interesting to see what I said here. Are they going to actually execute on any of this? And could this show be just as good as Raw? Raw tends to be pretty like Raw is not like incredible, but it tends to be like middle of the road, and sometimes it tends to be good. On a day like on a week to week basis. So I don't know if SmackDown can ever get to that level, but I want to know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you feel like SmackDown could rival Raw? Do you think SmackDown could actually get to the point where we're watching it consistently because we're excited about at least a segment or at least something on the show? Because right now it's just a bunch of things put together where we're like, okay. Oh, okay, that's happening on the show. Okay, cool. There's nothing exciting. Do you feel like WWE will finally get it right, or is it just going to be more of the same? Leave your comments in the comments below. Let me know, and I look forward to reading them, responding to them, and make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, because I'll be dropping a lot more videos over the next couple of days, and looking forward to seeing how they close off the year and head into Royal Rumble season, which is, again, TikTok. It's coming around the corner. All right. See you guys later. Take care.